one of the brothers, he corrected me before the salah. He corrected me. He told me that is not Sulaiman ibn Abdul Aziz, it was Sulaiman ibn Abdul Malik ibn Marwan. Correction. That came to Ata ibn Abi Rabah. Another point that I was going to say was, Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala, He makes a person a leader, Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, and chooses them because of knowledge. We all know the famous ayah where Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala, we know the famous ayah where Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala, He says, Inna Allah astafahu. Allah is the one who chose him, alaykum, over you, وَزَادَهُ بَسْطَةً فِي الْعِلْمِ وَالْجِسْمِ. What did Allah first mention that He chose him for? Ilm. Before He mentioned strength, Allah mentioned knowledge. So a person being big and strong, that's not leadership, and that's not, you can force people if you want to. Like in the first leader is the alim. Are we all together, brothers? And the raising of the people, Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala, He chooses, يَرْفَعِ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا مِنْكُمْ وَالَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْعِلْمَ درجات. Allah chooses the people of knowledge. The Prophet said in another hadith, إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَرْفَعُ بِهَذَا الْقُرْآنِ أَقْوَامًا وَيَضَعُ بِهِ آخَرِينَ. Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala, He chooses a people through the Qur'an. He raises them. You see a little kid leading people who are older than him in age, people who are senior than him because he memorized the book, Allah raised him to lead the people in what action? The first pillar after the Shahadatain, right? After the Shahadatain. Now.
ينالك نفعه ما دمت حيا ويبقى ذكره لك إن ذهبت.
He said, ينالك نفعه ما دمت حيا. Knowledge, the benefit that it has is, while you are alive, you will benefit from it. It will maneuver you. It will protect you from the plots and plans of shaitan. It will protect you, it will benefit you, it will bring you good. يَنَالُكَ نَفْعُهُ. The benefit in knowledge will come your way. مَا دُمْتَ حَيًّا, whilst you live. وَيَبْقَى ذِكْرُهُ. And your remembrance will remain when you go. When you die, you will be remembered. People remember Al-Imam Malik, Al-Imam Ahmad, Al-Imam Al-Bukhari, rahimahullah, they remember them. But does anyone remember the doctors and the businessmen at the time of Al-Imam Al-Bukhari and Al-Imam Ahmad? They died, they went, it's khalas, because they worked and they lived for themselves. But these people, they lived for the deen and they lived for the religion of Allah Azza wa Jalla. So Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala, He gave them a remembrance. وَلِذَلِكَ, the poet, he said, who's Ali ibn Abi Talib? He said, فَفُزْ بِعِلْمِ لَا تَبْغِي بِهِ بَدَلًا. Be successful and choose knowledge. Don't try to take anything over knowledge. النَّاسُ مَوْتَى, the people are dead. When they die, they're dead. وَأَهْلُ الْعِلْمِ أَحْيَاءُ. But the people of knowledge are alive. The way they've been spoken about, it's like He's with the people. Every day He's there. Are you with me, brothers? نعم.
هو العذب المهند ليس ينبو تصيب به مقاتل من أردت.
He said that knowledge is like a sword. Sayfun sarimun, a sword that can cut, a blade that can slice. That's what it's like. What it means here is, it's a proof for you when somebody tries to attack you and tries to question your view in an issue, you come up with your argument. That's what Allah says in the ayah, وَتِلْكَ حُجَّتُنَا آتَيْنَا إِبْرَاهِيمَ. Allah says, we gave our hujjah, our proof, Ibrahim ala qawmi, over his people. نَرْفَعُ دَرَجَاتٍ مَنْ نَشَاءُ. Allah says, we raise the stations of whoever we wish. So the person, he can use it in times of argument. We all know the ayah, لَمْ تَرَ إِلَى الَّذِي حَاجَّ إِبْرَاهِيمُ فِي رَبِّهِ. Namrud ibn Kan'an and who? Nabiullah Ibrahim. When he said to him, أَنْ آتَاهُ اللَّهُ الْمُلْكِ إِذْ قَالَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ رَبِّيَ الَّذِي يُحْيِي وَيُمِيتُ قال أنا أحيي وأميت قال فإن الله يأتي بالشمس من المشرق فأتي بها من المغرب فبهت الذي كفر Wallahu la yahdi al-qawm al-zalimin. Ibrahim debated with him. Ibrahim, look what he used. Ilm. He came out with his sword to use. He used it. ولذلك the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when the battle of Uhud happened and the battle was finished, the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and his companions, they went up the mountain, and then Abu Sufyan, he screamed in the highest of his voice, and he said, U'ullu Hubal. Hubal, which was an idol they worshipped, be high, have a high station. فقال النبي, the messenger then said to the companions, ألا تجيبونه? Are you not going to respond to this man? قالوا ما نقول, O messenger of Allah, what should we say to him? The Prophet said to him, قولوا, say to him, Allahu a'la wa ajal. Allah is high and Allah is majestic. Say that to him. And then Abu Sufyan, when that was said to him, he responded. He said, لَنَا الْعُزَّى. Honor is for us. That's what we have. وَلَا عِزَّى لَكُمْ. And there's no honor for you, Muhammad, and your followers. Then the Prophet said to the companions, أَلَا تُجِيبُوهُ أَلَا تُجِيبُونَهُ أَمَا أَجِيبُوهُ. Sorry, أَجِيبُوهُ. The Prophet said, respond to him. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He said to the companions, respond. Then they said, مَا نَقُولُ, what should we say, O Messenger of Allah? Then said, Allahu Mawlana, Allah is our aider and our supporter, وَلَا مَوْلَى لَكُمْ. And you have no one governing and supporting and caring for you guys. Then the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when he said that, say to Abu Sufyan, they said it to Abu Sufyan responded. And then he said, today, Yawm, al-yawma bi-yawmi Badr. Today is for the day of Badr. Today is for Badr. How many people were killed from the disbelievers on the battle of Badr? 70. How many were taken as spoils of war from the disbelievers on the battle of Badr? 70. Like in the battle of Uhud, how many companions died? 70. How many were taken as spoils of war from the companions? None. No companion was taken as spoils of war. So what he's trying to say is, the ones you killed from us, we've killed them from you. And then the Prophet ﷺ said to them, he said, لا سواء, it's not equal. قتلانا في الجنة, the ones that were killed from us are in Jannah. وقتلاكم في النار, and the ones that were killed from you guys are in the hellfire. It's not the same. So look at the Prophet's response. Are you with me, brothers? Why was he? Because the Prophet ﷺ had knowledge. Ilm. He didn't get emotional. People resort to shouting and screaming and violence. As people don't have hujjah, proof. He had it, salawatullahi wa salam. So he silenced him, alayhi salatu wa salam. So this is what he means. وَالْغَضْبُ الْمُهَنَّدُ لَيْسَ يَنْبُ تُصِيبُ بِهِ مَقَاتِلَ مَنْ أَرَدْتَ. These are different nusakhs. They say different things. What does this one say? وَالْغَضْبُ الْمُهَنَّدُ. صح, it's the same. تُصِيبُ بِهِ مَقَاتِلَ مَنْ أَرَدْتَ. If you want to fight with somebody with your proofs, you can destroy them. ولذلك the Quran referred to knowledge as a jihad. Allah said in the ayah, يَا أَيُّهَا النَّبِيُّ جَاهِدِ الْكُفَّارَ وَالْمُنَافِقِينَ وَاغْلُظْ عَلَيْهِمْ وَمَأْوَاهُمْ جَهَنَّمُ وَبِئْسَ الْمَصِيرُ. يَا أَيُّهَا النَّبِيُّ جَاهِدِ الْكُفَّارَ. This ayah is a Meccan ayah. This ayah is what? Meccan ayah بِاتِّفَاقِ الْمُفَسِّرِينَ, by consensus of the Mufassirin. Are we all together? But it says جَاهِدِ الْكُفَّارَ. It means with what? With hujjah and proof. Now.
وكنز لا تخاف عليه لسه خفيف الحمل يوجد حيث كنت. Here
now he mentions something beneficial from the benefits of knowledge, which is, he said, وَكَنْزٌ لَا تَخَافُ بِهِ لِصًّا. Knowledge is a treasure. You are carrying something valuable you're carrying. But guess what? No thief can come and steal it from you. The value that is with you right now, no thief can come and take it from you. Like, and that's the person whose knowledge is what? In his chest. The one who's got papers and poems that can be taken from him. The knowledge that's in your heart and in your chest that you've kept and it's with you is gold and more valuable than it that you're carrying. And you're not scared for anyone to rob it. Are we all together, brothers? One time I traveled with one sheikh. I traveled with him. And he had a lot of books. And when he got stopped in the airport, they said to him, you're not going to take these luggages. And his hifd was very strong. He said, take it back, I have it in my mind. خفيف الحمل يوجد حيث كنت. And he reminded me this line of poetry, وَكَنْزُ لَا تَخَافُ بِهِ لِصًّا. And he said to me, Wallahi, the volumes that I'm carrying in my head, if it was brought out, I would never be able to take it into the aeroplane. Like now that it's in his chest, خفيف الحمل يوجد حيث كنت. It's very light. You can go on the plane with it. صح. خفيف الحمل يوجد حيث. And it's found wherever he is. صح. It's found where you are. That's the benefit of knowledge. ولذلك Ibn Hazm, they told him that some people are out there, they want to burn your books. Because Ibn Hazm was very harsh. Ibn Hazm was very, very harsh, rahimahullah. And so some people were burning his works and they were ripping his books and they were destroying his. And so they informed him that your books have been destroyed. And then he said the following. He said, فَإِن تَحْرِقُوا الْقِرْطَاسَ. If you go and you burn my works and my books, لَا تَحْرِقُوا الَّذِي ضَمَّمْتُهُ الْقِرْطَاسُ. But just don't make sure you don't burn the one whose heart all of those scrolls are in, which is me. I still have them all with me. يَسِيرُ مَعِي حَيْثُ اسْتَقَلْتُ. It is with me wherever I am. Wherever I go, I have it in my heart. I rewrite it again, no problem. Rahimahullah. Are you with me, brothers? That's what they said to him. So the great scholars at that time, they considered knowledge was with you. You see? ولذلك the poet, Imam Khalil ibn Ahmad al-Farahidi, what did he say? Shaykh Sibawayhi. He said, العلم ما حواه الصدر وليست ما حواه القمطر. Knowledge is what? Knowledge was in the chest. It's what's with you. Not what's in your papers. What's outside, everyone shares it. You bought that book? Oh, I'm going to buy it as well. You with me, brothers? The knowledge that you own is the one that you can take to the toilet, the scholars say. What you can take to the toilet is your knowledge. Brothers. Whatever you can't take to the toilet, then that shows that that's not your knowledge. That's a common knowledge everyone shares. Everyone can open a book and everyone can read from it. Like the real knowledge is what? What's in the chest. ولذلك الإمام الشاطبي said, العلم من قبل كانت في صدور الرجال. Knowledge before used to be in the hearts and the chests of men. Early generally, they had it in their hearts. And then what they said was, they said, okay, we're dying, we're coming to an end, our lives are passing out. You know what? Let's take all of this out of our chest and write it in the books for the people. Like, let's make this available for everyone. Let's be kind and good to these people. And subhanAllah, if they had that knowledge with them and they didn't bring it in the books, maybe there would have been less calamities and trials and tribulations. But they wrote it and they put it in the books. And Shatibi said something very powerful. He said, even though the books are with them, so even though the knowledge that's with them, they put it inside the books, the keys are still with them. They are still holding those keys. You can't unlock those books unless they tell you this is what it is, this is what's not. Very important. Naam.
يزيد بكثرة الإنفاق منه وينقص أن به كفى شددت.
Repeat that again.
يزيد بكثرة الإنفاق منه وينقص أن به
وينقص إن به كفا شددت. صح؟ corrected then. يزيد, knowledge increases. بكثرة الإنفاق منه. Here is where, what is he doing? He's comparing knowledge with what? Money. Money, if you have it, a thief can rob it from you. The more knowledge the more money that you have, the more money you have, the more weight it is on you. True or false? Like in knowledge, the more it increases, the more lighter you get. The more easier your stress becomes. That's why he meant خفيف الحمل يوجد حيث كنت. If you gain more knowledge, the less stressful you are in this world. Are you with me, brothers? True or false? Another thing I want you to remember, brothers. I want you guys to remember a benefit where he compares knowledge with mal. Mal, if you give it, what happens to it? It reduces. The wealth goes less. That's one. يزيد بكثرة الإنفاق منه. لكن علم what? The more you give it, the more it increases. You learn masail, somebody asks you a question, you're like, I never thought of that question. The more you go over it and the more you teach the people, the more it becomes solidified in your heart. So what I did, brothers, for you is, I'm going to give you guys some of the things that allow you to gain the barakah of knowledge. Not just knowledge, but the barakah of knowledge. Write it down. It's 5 things, inshallah ta'ala. And I'm also going to mention the things that prevent you from gaining knowledge. Number 1 is al-ikhlas wa hudur al-qalb. Sincerity, brothers. Sincerity, doing it for Allah tabarak wa ta'ala's sake and not intending it for anyone else. Allah said in the Quran, وَمَا أُمِرُوا إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ مُخْلِصِينَ لَهُ الدِّينَ حُنَفَاءَ. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. So you do it with sincerity and you do it for Allah's sake subhanahu wa ta'ala. This knowledge that you're seeking, you're doing it for Allah alone. Abdullah ibn Abbas, and he said something very powerful. He said, يَنَالُ الْمَرْءُ بِقَدْرِ نِيَّتِهِ. A person gains knowledge in accordance to their intention. You will gain knowledge in accordance to your sincerity. Knowledge will come to you in accordance to your sincerity. ولذلك Allah said in the Quran, إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَذِكْرَى لِمَنْ كَانَ لَهُ قَلْبٌ أَوْ أَلْقَى السَّمْعَ وَهُوَ شَهِيدٌ. إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَذِكْرَى. This knowledge and this deen will go into the heart of who? لِمَنْ كَانَ لَهُ قَلْبٌ. The person who has a what? The person who has a qalb, a heart. Here, what does it mean heart? Sincerity. Number 2, taqwa Allahi, having the taqwa of Allah Azza wa Jalla, being conscious of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, staying away from the sins and going against His boundaries Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Didn't Allah not say in the Quran, وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَيُعَلِّمُكُمُ اللَّهِ. Come with taqwa of Allah Azza wa Jalla, Allah will teach you. Allah will give you knowledge Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. In another ayah, Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala, He says, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا اتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَآمِنُوا بِرَسُولِهِ يُؤْتِكُمْ كِفْلَيْنِ مِنْ رَحْمَتِهِ وَيَجْعَلْ لَكُمْ نُورًا تَمْشُونَ بِهِ وَيَغْفِرْ لَكُمْ. Allah says, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, those of you who believe in Allah, اتَّقُوا اللَّهَ, have taqwa of Allah, وَآمِنُوا بِرَسُولِهِ, believe in His messenger. يُؤْتِكُمْ كِفْلَيْنِ, Allah will give you 2 kif, knowledge and righteous actions, beneficial knowledge and righteous actions. وَيَجْعَلْ لَكُمْ نُورًا, and Allah will give you light, تَمْشُونَ بِهِ, which you can walk on the earth with. وَيَغْفِرْ لَكُمْ, and Allah will forgive you for your sins. Allah will give you knowledge when you come with taqwa. Allah will allow you to implement when you come with taqwa. Number 3, عُلُوُّ الْهِمَّةِ, high aspiration. High aspiration. High aspiration is vital and it's important. If you just come to this lesson or this dawrah or any other dawrah because you want to just get the angels to write you down with the righteous people, this is very low aspiration. Don't just say, oh Allah, I want Jannah. What did the Prophet say? إِذَا سَأَلْتُمُ اللَّهَ الْجَنَّةَ فَسَأَلُوهُ الْفِرْدَوْسِ. When you ask Allah for Jannah, don't say, oh Allah, as long as I get my leg into Jannah, I'm happy. Don't say that. You're a mu'min, you're a Muslim, have high aspiration. Don't be like a person who says, فَمَنْ زُحْزِحَ عَنِ النَّارِ وَأُدْخِلَ الْجَنَّةَ فَقَدْ فَازَ وَمَا الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا مَتَاعُ الْغُرُورِ. As long as I'm protected from the hellfire and I'm entered into Jannah, that's enough. No, that's not enough. For a mu'min, he has high aspiration. Ask for Firdaus. The 4th one is, take knowledge from its people. Take knowledge from the right people, the people whose mu'taqad and their belief is right. Take from the right people, the people who have that knowledge. The reason is because, and I remember this, wallahi, very well. When I was young, I studied in an Islamic school and the teacher didn't like Arabic because he was bad in Arabic. He was bad in Arabic, so he was told to teach Arabic to us. And because he wasn't a specialist in the field, he wanted to make us all hate the Arabic language. I was like, why we really need this language? He will throw jokes in there. He will belittle and discredit the subject because he was not a specialist. That wasn't his field. If you go to a person who mastered that field, he loves that field. So when he comes in, he comes with what? He comes with energy, the charisma, the enthusiasm. Okay? Fame is not a 9-to-5 job. Number 5 is at-tadarruj fi talab al-ilm. Gradual. When you're seeking knowledge, brothers, go gradual. If you go into the big books, you'll realize after many years, you haven't gone anywhere, and so you become depressed and sad, and so you say, I don't want to seek knowledge. And to be honest, you ain't going to gain the barakah of knowledge if you start with big books. Zuhri said, "Man akhadha al-ilma jumlatan fatatu jumla." Anyone who takes knowledge all at once and doesn't do a gradual stage, what will happen to him? All of it will go from you. ولذلك الزهري said something very powerful. He said, يُنَالُ الْعِلْمِ, knowledge is attained بِالْأَيَّامِ وَاللَّيَالِ, days and nights, months, weeks. Don't do it all at once. And if you try to, it's like a newborn baby trying to eat food that isn't for him. So what happens to him? He chokes. I want to mention two more. Shall I mention two more? Number 6 is al-amalu bil-ilm, implement the knowledge. I told you before, if you don't implement what was already given to you, you won't get anything new. Allah won't give it to you, subhanahu wa ta'ala. And number 7 is as-sabru, patience, wa kathratu at-takrar wal-mudhakara, revision. Revise. Go over what you learned. Keep going over it. And don't give up. And Imam al-Bukhari was asked, Bukhari, what can help a person's memorization? What is it that can help him? As an Imam al-Bukhari, there's no one to ask better than Bukhari, right? And then he said something powerful. He said, لا أعلم شيئا أنفع للعلم. I don't know anything more beneficial for knowledge. When it comes to memorizing it, then نهمة الرجل, a man's aspiration. And ومداومة النظر, looking over the text, over the text, over the text. صح? All of those, they help you with gaining knowledge. ولذلك, to be very honest with you, I don't read منظومة Abu Ishaq al-Ilbiri. I won't read this because I studied it many years back. I won't look at al-Waraqat or نخبة الفكر or Wasitiyya or ثلاثة الأصول or, yeah. But I do when I teach it. So revising it with the students and covering and teaching it, it's a what? It's a revision for me. That's the only times I pick up al-Waraqat to look at it. And we all together. It's a revision for me. So that's why I put the Dawrah together. Yeah. The reason why I put the Dawrah together is for me to revise and for you to hear me revise, inshallah ta'ala. What are the things that prevent you from gaining knowledge or stop you from it? Again, 7 things, inshallah ta'ala, I'm going to mention. Because I mentioned 7 here, I'm going to mention 7. Al-kibru, arrogance. A person who's arrogant is never going to learn. I'm not going to learn from this person. You will never learn, صراحة. إثنان لا يتعلمان, 2 types of people never learn. The first one is al-mutakabbir. Arrogant person never learns. Number 2, the second thing that prevents you from learning knowledge is al-jadal, argumentation. If you're always argumentative, you're always arguing with the teacher, you're always saying, doesn't make sense, bring a better proof, and you're argumentative with your teacher, he will close his mind. Whenever he sees you, he'll want to walk away from you. He'll avoid you. He doesn't want to talk to you. وَلِذَلِكَ نافع ibn Azraq was a Khariji. Nafi' ibn Azraq was a Khariji. And they said one of the things that prevented, or the thing that prevented him from gaining knowledge was he would always argue with Abdullah ibn Abbas. Abdullah ibn Abbas. Every time he would come close to Ibn Abbas and Ibn Abbas said something, he would argue with him. And the last argument that he had with Ibn Abbas was, Ibn Abbas said that the hudhud, it's a bird. He said that the hudhud, Abdullah ibn Abbas said, that the hudhud is a bird that when it flies, it can see underneath the earth, it can see what's in it. If there is gold or minerals or anything, it can see. Ibn Abbas said that. Okay? So what happened was, Nafi' ibn Azraq said, really Ibn Abbas, why is it that we find the little kids, they put grass on the earth, they put grass, and then on top of it they put food, and then they wait for the hudhud to come, and they grab it, and it falls into the hole, and they grab it like that. How is it possible that that's what you're saying, and how do we reconcile the reality that we can see? Empirical evidence. Abdullah ibn Abbas straight away, because he was sari'ul badiha, he was a smart individual. He said, إِذَا جَاءَ الْقَدَرُ بَطَلَ الْحَذَرُ. If the qadar comes, all your precautions go out of the window. All your ability and strength goes, right? Are you not a good driver? Yes, you are a good driver. Can you drive? Yes, you can. Why did you die in a car crash? Are you with me, brothers? The qadr came. The qadr came. Nafi' ibn Azraq looked at Ibn Abbas and he said, Wallahi, from today onwards, I'm never going to debate with you again. You're too smart for me, Ibn Abbas. Lakin Ibn Abbas used to hate him so much. And he would avoid talking to him. And he never benefited anything. So leave argumentation. Don't argue with your teacher. The third thing is not implementing the knowledge that you've already gained. Not implementing it. And to be honest, the majority of the people that fall under that are these academic researchers who look into Islam as an academic work. They look at the Quran and they say, they get me, the kalam of the ulama, they look at it like that. They ain't going to gain Islamic knowledge. They're just researchers and academics and wahakada. Number 4 is not paying attention. Adamul ilqa'i as-sam'. Not paying attention. You see, some people, what they say to you is, have you finished? Have you finished? If anyone ever says to you, have you finished, they were not listening. Well, that's majority of the time. It's true or false? So, anyone says to you, have you finished? Okay, what I was going to, that's it. He was not listening to you. He was just waiting for his turn. And if you're like that, you're not going to learn. إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَذِكْرَى لِمَنْ كَانَ لَهُ قَلْبٌ أَوْ أَلْقَى السَّمْعَ وَهُوَ شَهِيدٌ. This knowledge will only trickle into your heart when you listen. وَقَالُوا لَوْ كُنَّا نَسْمَعُ أَوْ نَعْقِلُ مَا كُنَّا فِي أَصْحَابِ السَّعِيرِ فَاعْتَرَفُوا بِذَنْبِهِمْ فَسُحْقًا لِأَصْحَابِ السَّعِيرِ. They recognized the reason why they came to the hellfire is because they never listened. And وَلِذَلِكَ Ibn al-Qayyim said, Allah gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. Are you with me, brothers? 2 ears and what? There's a wisdom why one is more than the other. Because you talk less and you listen. Abdullah ibn Abbas, and he was asked, how did you gain knowledge? How did you attain your knowledge? And he said, Ilqa'i sam'i. I brought my ears close. I listened. When you listen, you benefit. How many people said to me, wow, that point that you mentioned today, it was so beneficial. And every day he's in my halaqah, he's hearing me saying that same points. Are you with me, brothers? And I remember one time I had a discussion with a guy, and he said, why does Allah always repeat the same points in the Quran so many times? And then I said, I promise I'll answer that question. Let me come back to it after the discussion. And then after the discussion, there was a point I said 3 times. I just wanted to see if he was going to remember it. So I asked him, did you remember that point that I said? He goes, no, I don't remember it. I said, that's why repetition is beneficial. That's the reason why repetition is beneficial. Because it allows you the information to sink in. ولذلك the Messenger صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا قال شيئا, if he said something, قالها ثلاثا. He would say it 3 times. Are you with me, brothers? Number 5, عدم الحفظ, not memorizing. If you avoid memorization and say, yeah, that's not for me, I don't want to memorize, I'm old, that's not me, then you're not going to learn. Number 6 is كتمه وعدم نشره, concealing the knowledge that you have and saying, I am not fit for it, and this wara' barid. Yeah, you have to spread the knowledge. ولذلك the scholars, they said تزكية العلم نشره, زكاة العلم نشره. زكاة العلم. Do you give zakat from your money? Do you give zakat from your money? The zakat of knowledge is to spread it. The zakat that you have to pay from your money is, from your knowledge, is to spread it. And last but not least, musahabatul akhyar, befriend the smart people. People who don't give up. People who are enthusiastic. Yeah? That's the 7th one. Yeah? عدم مصاحبة الأخيار, not befriending the righteous people, avoiding befriending the righteous people. Here, to be honest, it says to me مصاحبة الكسلى, أما الكسالى والخاملين وأصحاب الهمم الوضيعة. befriending the weak-minded people. Somebody who says to you, Akhi, I don't know, man. Do you really think people are ever going to need me and you? You think the ummah are going to one time want to learn and gain knowledge from me and you? You think so? When there's great mountains of knowledge? I don't think so, Akhi, man. We should just understand our role and get a 9-to-5 job and, let's leave this. It's ridiculous. It's not real. And that happened to Ibn Abbas, true or false? The other Sahabi said to him, Ibn Abbas, do you think there's going to come a time when the people need me and you? And Ibn Abbas didn't listen. And he left the man. Look at what he did. He left him. That type of person is always going to try to influence you. So he left him. He walked away from him. And then the man saw Ibn Abbas in a halaqah teaching, benefiting the people. And he said, Inna hadha al-fata a'qala minni. That young boy was smarter than me. He never listened to me. Naam.
فلو قد ذقت من حلواه طعما لآثرت التعلم واجتهدت.
This is something I will tell you, brothers, to remember. Some people, they say, why are you able to read 10 hours a day or 15 hours a day? Because فلو قد ذقت من حلواه طعما. If you taste the sweetness of knowledge, you taste it. لقد لآثرت التعلم واجتهدت. You will never have any other passion in your life except knowledge. Once you taste it, it really goes in, and you taste the sweetness of knowledge, what will happen? فَلَوْ قَدْ ذُقْتَ مِنْ حَلْوَاهُ طَعْمًا. If you taste the sweetness of knowledge and how nice it is, لَآثَرْتَ التَّعَلُّمَ وَاجْتَهَدْتَ. You will exert all of your life to knowledge. You will what? Knowledge. Let me tell you the story. Who said, Sheikh? Huh? By sinning. You won't gain knowledge. Did I not mention sinning? Yeah? So I mentioned it in the other side, which is not to avoid sinning, right? When I said barakatul ilm. There was a story, Abu al-Hasan ibn Faris, and he said, Abu Hasan ibn al-Faris mentioned the story. He said that Ibn Amid, he said, ما كنت أظن, I never thought, أن في الدنيا حلاوة. I never thought there was ever a sweetness in this dunya. حلاوة ألذ, more sweeter من الرئاسة والوزراء. I never thought that there was ever anything in this dunya more sweeter than leadership. Being a wazir or being a ra'is. I thought that was the sweetest position to ever hold. That's what I believed, he said. حتى شهدت, until I participated, مذاكرة سليمان ibn Ayyub, until I sat in a gathering where Sulaiman ibn Ayyub was talking. Sulaiman ibn Ayyub, Ibn Ahmad al-Tabarani and Abu Bakr ibn Ja'abi were both discussing an issue. First one is Sulaiman ibn Ayyub, Ibn Ahmad al-Tabarani and Abu Bakr al-Ja'abi rahimahullah. I was in their gathering. Tabarani will overcome Ja'abi in the discussion. In what? بِكَثْرَةِ حِفْظِهِ. Tabarani had memorization which was very strong. But Ja'abi will overcome Tabarani all because of his smartness and how clever he was, and بِذَكَائِهِ وَفَطَنِهِ. Smart and was clever, and he knew how to play with words and outsmart Tabarani. He knew that. حتى ارتفعت أصواتهما, until each one, their voices became loud in their discussion. ولا يكاد أحدهما يغلب صاحبه. And one could not overcome the other one. If this one used more memorization, this one used more ذكاء and smartness. فقال الجعابي, then Ja'abi said, عندي حديث. Ja'abi finally thought, and he said, you know what? The only way forward is I have to go into Tabarani's field and show him that I have a hadith. He said, عندي حديث. I have a hadith. ليس في الدنيا إلا عندي. This hadith is only with me on the face of this earth. No one has this hadith. Chained to the Prophet. Only me. Tabarani said, Hati, bring it. He said, حدثنا سليمان. Sulaiman told me. حدثنا أبو خليفة. I heard Ja'abi said, I heard this from who? Abu Khalifa, who heard from Sulaiman. And then he told the hadith. Tabarani looked around and he said to him, who did Abu Khalifa narrate from? And he said, Sulaiman. He said, that's me, take it from me now, this hadith. Your chain becomes shorter now. Then the narrator said, I never smiled and felt joy and happiness in a situation than that particular situation. The joy on the face of Tabarani when he took Ja'abi on the discussion. He said, Sulaiman ibn Ayyub ibn Ahmad al-Tabarani, that's me, that's me. He heard it from me. Alhamdulillah, your chain is now shorter, take it from me. And he took the narration from him and the debate was over. So this gathering for me, he said, was the best gathering I saw, the sweetness of knowledge and how it was like now.
ولم يشغلك عنه هوى مطاع ولا دنيا بزخرفها فتنت.
ولم يشغلك عن هذا العلم. This knowledge, and when you gain knowledge, it will busy you from the glamours and the glitters of this dunya. You're in your little world, sweetness of this dunya, the joys of the dunya. But that busies the rest of the people. ولذلك, some people, they actually think because the scholars are not aware of the dunya, that's belittling them. But wallahi, that's an honor for them. There's a story I mentioned many times. Al-Allama Muhammad ibn Amin al-Shanqitiyu. Whoever knows his biography knows that man. Muhammad al-Amin al-Shanqitiyu, they said he was a walking encyclopedia. Hifz. He memorized the 12-volume dictionary, Lisan al-Arab. He memorized it from from memory. He had it from memory. He would quote the definitions of words from the dictionary from his head. And he used to do tafsir in the Prophet's masjid from his memory. Muhammad al-Amin al-Shanqitiyu. Bakr Abu Zayd said, I never saw anyone like him. Ayah min ayatillah. ولذلك Shaykh al-Albani said, if Muhammad al-Amin al-Shanqitiyu changes his opinion on niqab, then the whole of the Arabian Peninsula will change their opinion. The athar that he had on these people. He was the teacher of Ibn Baz. Are we all together? مع ذلك Muhammad al-Amin al-Shanqitiyu didn't know the different types of riyal, the currency of Saudi Arabia. Whenever he would go to a shop, he would put his hand in his pocket, get out all of the money when he would buy his books, and he would say to the owner, I don't know this, take whatever's yours. If he went to a shop to buy food or drink, he will say to the owner, take whatever is yours, and he will put the money back. Doesn't know what the owner took, what isn't, he doesn't know, he puts money back in his pocket. He doesn't know anything about the dunya. Like in the akhirah, what was he? Bahrul la sahila lahu. It was an ocean that had no shore. That's the ulama. Even my mashayikh, wallahi, my mashayikh, they shocked me. The things that I saw from them, how they were when it came to the dunya, and how distant they were from the dunya, how simple they were from the dunya. One of my mashayikhs, I said, Sheikh, I went downstairs and I got him a drink. And my imtihan is fizzy drink, so I'm tested with fizzy drink. So I bought him a fizzy drink. He said, Ma sharibtuha qat. I've never drank fizzy drink in my entire life. Never. I've never tasted it in my life. I don't drink that stuff. He said, Jazakallah khairan, make dua for me. مع ذلك, the Shaykh, what does he do? Ponder here, wallahi, عجبني كثيرا. The Shaykh sits there. Books are brought for him. He reads, he studies, he learns, he goes through works. When he wants to eat, you know what he eats? Food that you would say to yourself, this is not food. Who knows what mulukhiyah is? Does anyone here know what mulukhiyah is? Green mulukhiyah with dry bread, that's what he eats. He drinks it and he takes it with bread. Whilst he's looking into his books and turning over the pages and looking at the sanid and the riwayat. That's his dunya. He wakes up in the morning, goes to the top of the masjid, which has a maktaba, big maktaba for him. All day, if you see him, he's either climbing a ladder to get a book down, or he's under the table having a nap and reading and researching. Are we all together, brothers? That was their dunya. One amazing thing was, I just want to show you something. The distance that these people have from the dunya. One of my mashayikh, he said that the Maggi, who knows what the Maggi is? The Maggi that you add to the food. Am I saying it correctly? The Maggi, you all know Maggi, right? The little Maggi that you use as it's made out of chicken flavor, sah. Who knows it? Put your hand up. My sheikh said the Maggi is haram. So I wanted to know, why is that haram? And he was staunch on the opinion. He said it's haram, make sure that they don't use it in the restaurants, tell the people in the restaurants not to add it to their food. And he was very staunch. And if he comes to invitation in a house, he will ask, do you add Maggi to on it? Very strong. So I asked him, Shaykh, I said, Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh, what's the reason why it's haram? He said, if it's halal, because Maggi says halal on it. He said, if it's halal, why would they write halal on it? If it's halal, why would you write halal on something that's halal? Would you write halal on milk? Would you write halal on butter? I said, Sheikh, this is because the West needs that, Sheikh. He said, in the West, do they write halal on it for you guys? I said, of course they have to, because everything else is haram. The thing that shocked me is he doesn't understand the world outside. They have no knowledge of it. For me, that's a noble characteristic. It's a very honorable characteristic. And the ulama, they never used to compete with the people in their dunya. They were distanced from the people's dunya. But now we have the 21st century students of knowledge, right? The 21st century shuyukh who have to know the technical things. Now.
ولا ألهاك عنه أنيق رود ولا خدر بزينتها كلفتا
ولا
بزينتها كلفتا.
No, but the reality you have to draw to the shaykh. You see, this doesn't discredit the shaykh. Yes, I'm not saying the ulama, they know everything that's happening in the world. No, they don't. Pay attention to this point. The scholars, it doesn't mean they know everything that's happening in the world. So yes, sometimes you can be better than the scholar in a particular situation. But that makes it more of a reason for you to explain it to the shaykh and not run away from him. He's got the Islamic ruling in his head. He's got the ilm of the sharia. You just have the reality of this dunya. Give it to him and tell him exactly what's happening. Present it to him. Say, this is what's taking place, and this is what it is, and this is how it's happening, and this is why it's happening. Explain that reality in great details. And then what would he give you? The dalil appropriate for it. Because once he understands the ruling, but why does it have to be his job to always look at people, the reality of what's happening in the world? He only needs to know when he's given the verdict. Are we all together, brothers? Does that make sense? Naam. So the author, rahimahullah, he said, وَلَا أَلْهَاكَ عَنْهُ أَنِيقَ رَوْضٍ وَلَا خِدْرًا No. Is it, وَلَا خِدْرًا بِرَبْرَبِهِ كَلِفْتَا. What does your copy say? بِزِينَتِهَا. Those are two wordings. The dunya doesn't beautify them. The dunya does not fool them, the beauty and the glamours of the dunya. The ulama, what is it that they see beauty in? What is beautiful to the people of knowledge? Ilm is. That's why they name the books after glamorous things. Riyadh al-Salihin. Riyadh means what? Gardens. Gardens is the glamours of the dunya, right? They refer to knowledge as the gardens. Sah? Ar-Rawd al-Murbi'. Sah? Gardens, they refer to it. Bustan al-Arifin. They give it names that are glamorous, because knowledge for them is the beauty. The dunya is not beautiful to them. ولذلك ابن السيوطي has a kitab called al-Azhar al-Mutanathira. Al-Azhar means what? Flowers. They give the names of their books, they give it a lot of what? Like in brothers, a person who's fooled with this dunya and its glamours, are you really going to learn knowledge? The poet, he said, إِذَا كَانَ يُؤْذِيكَ حَرُّ الْمَصِيفِ. If the heat is hard for you, when summer comes in, you're like, oh, it's too hot, I can't seek knowledge. وَيُبْسُ الْخَرِيفِ. And the dryness, you guys have to help me with the seasons, okay? If summer's heat is, what do you call it? You can't seek knowledge because it's too hot, you're like, I can't seek knowledge in summer. And the dryness of, Kharif in our English, what's the translation for it? Autumn, right? Okay, if the dryness of autumn is not letting you seek knowledge, وَبَرْدِ الشِّتَاءِ. Shita is what? Winter, right? Yeah? And the coldness of winter. وَيُلْهِيكَ حُسْنُ زَمَانِ الرَّبِيعِ. And the nice flowers of spring, yeah, is amazing you. فَأَخُذُكَ لِلْعِلْمِ قُلِّ مَتَى. Then when are you actually going to take knowledge? That's the 4 seasons of the year. If every season you've got an excuse, when are you going to actually seek knowledge? نعم.
فقوت الروح أرواح المعاني وليس بأن طعمت ولا شربت.
This is important. The true sustenance, the true food, brothers, is what? Knowledge. Knowledge is the real food. It's the real nutrition. It's not food and drinking. It's knowledge. ولذلك Imam Ahmad was the one who said this. That the person is in more need of what? In ilm, more than food and drinking. Because food and drinking, you need it what? Maybe 4 or 5 times a day. Let's be 4 or 5 times. Knowledge, you need it every day. You need to know where the door is. You need to know where to come out of the car. You need to know how to switch on the car. All of these are knowledge. Knowledge precedes food and drinking. So it's the food of your heart. Naam. ولذلك, it's powerful because he said, فَقُوتُ الرُّوحِ, your soul, the food of your soul. Your heart to exist and to be nurtured and healthy, what do you need? You need food, right? The body, drinking and food is for it. If you want your body to be good, what do? Drink and eat. Okay? Eat mandi, yeah? And sleep. Is that good for your body? That's good for your body. Like, what about your heart? What about your ruh? ولذلك, many parents, they think the tarbiyah of their children is to give food to them and drink, and they feed the child, and they say, mashallah, look, you look strong. Allah barik. I raised you. Like, in the heart of the child is what? And another child, he doesn't eat much. His parents don't give him much. Okay? But they nurtured his deen. Other ones are like, miskeen, give this kid family sadaqah. No, the other ones are the ones in need of sadaqah and help. Are you with me, brothers? So remember, the human is a component of 2 things. Badan and the nafs. What's the difference between a ruh and a nafs? Don't shout it. Just put your hand up. What's the difference between the nafs and the ruh? Firas. Hey, Abdi Samad. The difference between the ruh and the nafs. Hey, ruh doesn't? Is the nafs not soul? Aye, iftiqar.
Nafs the desire.
Aye, no. It's called a nafs when it's inside the human body, but when it gets taken out, it's called a ruh now. Are we all together? When the angel of death takes it out, it's called ruh now. Are you with me, brothers? And it's an entity that stands by itself away from the body. It's now called a ruh. But when it's inside you, it's called a what? It's called a nafs. Does that make sense? It's the same thing. But it's just, when it's in you, it's nafs. Are we all together, brothers? Like when it gets taken, and the angel of death is taking it, what does it call it? Ruh. It stands by itself. So we have to nurture the nafs or the ruh. We have to nurture it. And that is by knowledge, beneficial knowledge. I said this before and I say it again. The body dehydrates. Sah? So does the heart. The heart dehydrates. If your body dehydrates, you die. And if your heart dehydrates, it dies. And what can hydrate your heart and give it the nutrition it wants is ilmun nafi', beneficial knowledge. Car needs oil. The heart needs it as well. It's craving for it. Are you with me, brothers? And that's why, brothers, when you don't drink water, you see it on your skin. You start gaining spots and this and that, and it's because lack of water. You start becoming even headaches. True or false? I'm not a doctor. That's not my field of expertise, but I'm saying I've seen these little symptoms here and there. The same applies with the qalb. You see the person becomes very angry and very aggressive and very disrespectful. And why? Because This is a state, the person is working towards what? A dying heart. Wallahi, the more you're closer to Allah and your heart is alive, the more you're merciful to the creation. You realize that. And the more you're understanding, and the more you're tolerant. Now.
فواظبه وخذ بالجد فيه فإن أعطاكه الله انتفعت.
The Shaykh rahimahullah, he said here, فواظبه, be consistent upon this which I'm telling you. Hold on to it, come with it. فإن أعطاكه الله انتفعت. If Allah gives you these advices that I'm giving you, wallahi, you will benefit. You benefit, truly you will benefit. And we mentioned that which he said. And that's what it means. When the Prophet ﷺ said, احرص على ما ينفعك إيش؟ استعن بالله ولا تعجز. Strive to what's going to benefit you. Strive, brothers. We're in a battle. In this world that we're in, the first enemy that we're fighting every day when we wake up is our nafs. So we have to strive. Strive every day and work hard. نعم.
وإن أوتيت فيه تويل باع وقال الناس إنك قد علمت فلا تأمن سؤال الله عنه بتوبيخ علمت فهل عملت.
The Shaykh says وإن أعطاك الله طول باع. If Allah gives you a portion, Allah gave you knowledge, now you've understood the deen, you have ilm, you have something, وقال الناس, and the people say to you, ها إنك قد علمت, you now know knowledge. They say Shaykh, Allama, Faqih. They call you names now. They give you titles and people start to praise you. The Shaykh says, فَلَا تَأْمَنْ سُؤَالَ اللَّهِ عَنْهُ. Don't forget the questioning and the interrogation of Allah the day of judgment. بِتَوْبِيخٍ. The way that you will be asked severely the day of judgment. What are you going to be asked? عَلِمْتَ فَهَلْ عَمِلْتَ. عَلِمْتَ, you had knowledge. فَهَلْ عَمِلْتَ. Did you implement what you knew? When you see yourself being appreciated by the people and being praised and being said about you that you have knowledge, you're alim, you're this, you're that, and people are praising you, don't forget, keep it in your mind that you will be asked the day of judgment about that knowledge that was given to you. Did you implement it? Now, that's if it's not wajib. If not wajib. And if you look at the great scholars, they used to implement everything that they learned. And Imam Ahmad rahimahullah, it was said about him that he said, I implemented every hadith I heard, even if it was once in my life. Just one hadith is remaining and I will do it. And he did it, which was the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. He asked a hajjam, a man, to cup him, and he gave him 1 dinar. The Prophet gave him, right? And he said, I want to implement the hadith, what the Prophet did. Are you with me, brothers? Shaykh al-Albani, they said about him that he used to not like to whiten his, to change the color of his beard. He never liked it. He liked it to be white. He used to let it like that. He liked it that way, Shaykh al-Albani. But he said that I will implement the sunnah once in my life. So he put henna on it once and he didn't do it after that. Just so he can implement the hadith. Just so he can implement the hadith, even if it's once. So remember that when the people praise you and what they say, always remember this one doesn't matter. This one, what the people are saying, it doesn't matter. Remember there's another one. لا تزول قدماي عبد يوم القيامة. That the slave's legs will not move from its position the day of judgment until you are asked about the knowledge that you had. Did you implement it? You will be asked about it. Keep that in your mind. Ibrahim ibn Adham, he said, ما صدق الله عبد أحب الشهرة. Ibrahim ibn Adham, he said, Wallahi, a person is not truthful about Allah Azza wa Jalla, who loves fame. A person who loves fame is not truthful. And he's not told truth about embarking on this path of the Deen of Allah Azza wa Jalla. Naam.
فرأس العلم تقوى الله حقا وليس بأن يقال لقد رأست.
Listen to this now. فَرَأْسُ الْعِلْمِ, the leadership and if you want to know you're a leader in knowledge, it's not that the people are pushing you forward and that they're putting you forward. That's not leadership. فَرَأْسُ الْعِلْمِ تَقْوَى اللَّهِ. It's when you gain taqwa of Allah Azza wa Jalla. وَلَيْسَ بِأَن يُقَالَ لَقَدْ رَأَسْتَ. And it's not that the people are saying to you, you're Ra'is, you're the best, there's no one like you, you're a gem, you're this. All of that, ignore it. And I will say one thing to you. A lot of the times in this world that you realize the people who say that to you are most likely going to be the ones who say opposite to you tomorrow. Are you with me, brothers? So don't get fooled by what people say. Remember that really what matters is إِنَّمَا يَخْشَى اللَّهَ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ إيش؟ العلماء. خشية. Have khashya of Allah Azza wa Jalla. Be scared of Him. It's not about if you've been given a chair. It's not even about what people refer to you as. What really matters is what? The taqwa and the khashya of Allah Azza wa Jalla. Oh Allah, give us khashya. نعم.
وأفضل ثوبك الإحسان لكن نرى ثوب الإساءة قد لبست.
He said to him, the best garment that you can dress yourself with is not a white thobe and it's ironed and it's no crease in it. No, the best is the taqwa of Allah Azza wa Jalla. That's the best you can dress yourself with. Didn't Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala say, وَتَزَوَّدُوا فَإِنَّ خَيْرَ الزَّادِ التَّقْوَى? The ayah where Allah says, وَلِبَاسُ التَّقْوَى وَلِبَاسُ التَّقْوَى ذَلِكَ خَيْرٌ. لِبَاسُ التَّقْوَى ذَلِكَ خَيْرٌ. The clothing of piety. But he said, Abu Bakr, I see that you have worn the opposite of that. He's talking to Abu Bakr. You've chosen and you've taken a clothing other than the clothing of piety. You've swayed away from the path. نعم. اللهم زينا بزينة الإيمان واجعلنا هداة مهتدين. نعم.
إذا ما لم يفدك العلم خيرا فخير منه أن لو قد جهلت.
The author said something very powerful. He said, إذا ما لم يفدك العلم, if knowledge does not benefit you. إذا لم يفدك العلم, if knowledge does not benefit you, خير. But this knowledge doesn't benefit you anything. You've learned the Deen of Allah Azza wa Jalla and it hasn't changed you, it hasn't shaped you. He said, فَخَيْرٌ مِّنْهُ أَن لَوْ قَدْ جَهِلْتَ. It would be better that you didn't know in the first place. And that's the truth for so many people. That for them to have gain knowledge has become a problem. Are you with me, brothers? I know people who've left the UK and they left, okay? And they went to prestigious universities and they came back. They didn't learn anything. رَجَعَ بِخُفَّيْ حُنَيْنَ, as Arabs say. They came back with nothing. It's harsh for me to say this, but it's the truth. Okay? They came back with nothing. هَبَاءً مَنْثُورًا. Now the problem is, when they came back, they can't humble themselves and seek knowledge because the people are going to say, where have you been for 6 years? Are you going to seriously study this book now? Huh? So that has now become a hajib, something that prevents him from what? From actually embarking and seeking knowledge. صح? So that person will say to him, إِذَا لَمْ يُفِدْكَ الْعِلْمُ خَيْرًا. If learning in that prestigious university didn't teach you that you need to humble yourself and still embark on seeking knowledge, فَخَيْرٌ مِّنْهُ أَن لَوْ قَدْ جَهِلْتَ. It would have been better that you never learned in the first place. ولذلك, one brother told me that when he left the Jamia Islamiyah and he was graduating from the Jamia and he finished and he was going to go to the UK, he went to Sheikh Abdul Razak al-Badr and he said, Sheikh, I'm leaving, I'm going to go back to the UK. People are waiting for me. They want me to give da'wah. What's your advice? And Sheikh said to him, now that you've finished the Jamia and you've graduated from the Jamia taught you for 6 years that you don't know nothing. That was the purpose. Now that you've gone back to your country, you now need to sharpen and ground yourself in knowledge. Now it's when it starts for you. And that's how the mu'min is always increasing himself in knowledge, and we'll carry on after the salah, inshallah ta'ala.